In this video, we'll be taking a look at 4 NBA games happening on January 5th, 2026, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 8 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 4 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start, if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. New York Knicks versus Detroit Pistons. The Knicks are still missing a couple of pieces, with Josh Hart and Landry Shamet ruled out, while the Pistons will be without Tobias Harris, Caris LeVert, and Jalen Duren. In other words, neither side is anywhere near full strength. This matchup really sets up like a genuine coin flip between two of the stronger outfits in the Eastern Conference, which is exactly why the value leans toward the underdog. Detroit has quietly been one of the conference's steadier teams all season, and now they get a shot at revenge at home against the same New York squad that barely knocked them out in the first round of last year's playoffs. Those games were tight, physical, and often decided in the final minute, the kind of setting where holding a plus money ticket suddenly feels very smart when the last 30 seconds turn into a free throw and timeout marathon. New York is a high-level, well-coached group, no doubt, but they have shown some cracks when they leave home, and this is the type of environment where those issues can show up again. In a game that is likely driven by late half-court possessions, 1 or 2 high-leverage sequences could flip the outcome either direction, which makes taking points with the home side a lot more appealing than laying them. When the most realistic scenario is a 1 or 2 possession game either way, backing a motivated home underdog at plus money is the play that makes sense both mathematically and situationally. Detroit has enough scoring, enough defense, and enough size to handle this matchup on both ends of the floor, and to be quite honest, this number feels borderline disrespectful. It is priced almost entirely off New York's recent run rather than a fair read of these two specific lineups meeting tonight. Just like the Cavaliers' number yesterday with the Pistons, this spread feels disrespectful again. The Knicks are probably getting extra market love because they have the rest advantage, but they are 2-8 against the spread in their last 10 games. On top of that, 8 of their 12 losses this season have come on the road, which is not exactly the profile of a team you want to trust as a road favorite in a hostile building. The Pistons, by contrast, are 12-3 straight up at home, and this will only be the 6th time since April that they have been priced as home underdogs. Detroit is 2-1 straight up and against the spread as a home dog this season, which tells you they are comfortable in this role and hardly overwhelmed by it. And honestly, the fact they are on the second night of a back-to-back does not bother me here, especially with their home form and the emotional angle after last year's playoff exit. As our first pick for this matchup, the Detroit Pistons to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Now, looking at the scoring profile, the Knicks are averaging 120.5 points on 47.3% shooting and allowing 115 points on 46.6% shooting. They are hitting 38.1% of their threes and 80.2% at the free throw line, while allowing opponents to shoot 37.1% from deep and grabbing 46.2 rebounds per game. The Pistons are putting up 118.8 points on 48% shooting and conceding 112.7 points on 44.4% shooting. They are shooting 35.1% from beyond the arc and 75.3% at the free throw line, while allowing 35% shooting from deep and pulling down 46.3 boards per game. So when you step back and look at those numbers together, you have two teams that score at a high clip, shoot efficiently from the field, and rebound well enough to create plenty of second chances. Both defenses give up a fair amount from 3, which usually helps totals climb, especially when you mix in solid free throw shooting on the New York side and respectable volume from Detroit. In a modern, pace-friendly setting where both offenses are already living in the high 100 teens on average, it does not take many small runs, a few made threes, or an overtime scare for this matchup to clear a standard total. Put simply, the statistical profile on both sides tilts toward points rather than a grinded-out slog. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Atlanta Hawks versus Toronto Raptors. The Hawks are still without Tare Young, and Luke Kennard is sitting in that annoying questionable bucket, while the Raptors have Jakob Poeltl ruled out again. So both sides are juggling absences, but Atlanta is clearly feeling the loss of their primary engine a lot more. Atlanta did start to build a bit of momentum with a couple of nice wins before getting thrashed by this same Raptors team on Saturday. And that kind of quick rematch spot can be tricky. It is genuinely hard to take the same team out twice in a row in this league, especially when pride kicks in and the team that got blown out wants to respond. So you can reasonably expect more resistance and a better effort from the Hawks, even if the scoreboard did not flatter them last time. Here is the thing though, even with that bounce-back angle, the bigger picture is rough for Atlanta, with 12 losses in their last 16 games and their star still on the sideline. Toronto has quietly owned this matchup, going 5-0 straight up and against the spread in the last 5 meetings, 3 of those coming this season, which is not exactly a small sample. That kind of recent head-to-head form matters when the personnel and style have not radically changed. When the market hangs a number that still invites you to consider the short-handed, struggling side, it feels like the price is simply too soft on the favorite. You are basically being asked to ignore a long stretch of poor Hawks form and a clean run of Raptors dominance in this matchup, which is a big ask. As our first pick for this matchup, the Toronto Raptors to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Atlanta Hawks are averaging 119 points on 48.2% shooting and allowing 119.9 points on 47.6% shooting. They are hitting 37.3% of their threes and 77.8% at the free throw line, while allowing opponents to shoot 35.6% from deep and grabbing 41.8 rebounds per game. The Toronto Raptors are averaging 114.4 points on 47.4% shooting and allowing 112.7 points on 46.3% shooting. They are shooting 35.1% from beyond the arc and 77.9% from the line, while allowing 34.1% shooting from deep and pulling down 43.4 rebounds per game. When you put those profiles side by side, you are looking at two offenses that are efficient from the field and more than capable of getting into the 100 teens on a normal night. Both defenses allow solid three-point percentages, which tends to keep the scoreboard moving, and neither team is shy about letting it fly or playing at a pace that creates plenty of possessions. The rebounding numbers suggest there will be second chance opportunities for both sides, and those extra looks usually help a total creep upward, especially when the free throw numbers are steady instead of shaky. So with this kind of scoring baseline, decent shooting splits, and defensive numbers that are more bend than brick wall, this matchup naturally leans toward a game that gets into a higher scoring range rather than a grindy rock fight. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Chicago Bulls versus Boston Celtics. The Bulls are still missing Jalen Smith, Zach Collins, and Josh Giddey, with Kobe White sitting on the injury report as questionable, while the Celtics are still going without Jason Tatum. So both groups are shorthanded, but one side is used to functioning with a next man up mindset a lot more consistently than the other. The Bulls had finally started to build a little momentum before they ran into the Hornets in their last outing, and that loss kind of snapped the feel-good stretch they were putting together. They are still shorthanded for this matchup, which means they have to thread a pretty thin needle if they want to hang around for 4 quarters against a top-level opponent. On the other side, the Celtics are arguably the hottest team in the league right now, and they are coming off a win over a Clippers team that had rolled into that game on a 6-game win streak. Beating a confident contender like that is the sort of result that usually carries over a bit, both in terms of belief and how the market looks at you. You can absolutely talk yourself into the Bulls and the points, since they are 7-3 straight up and against the spread in their last 10 games. That is real progress compared to how they looked earlier in the season. The trouble is that even in that stretch there are some genuinely ugly performances mixed in, and there is this running joke about Vucevic losing his mind when some random garbage time bucket flips the cover. It is funny, but it also hints at how volatile this team can be. Meanwhile, the Celtics are not just stacking wins, they are 21-13 against the spread on the season, which puts them among the better cover teams in the league. When a team is winning and covering at that rate, it usually means the market keeps nudging the number up and they still manage to clear it. That is not easy. Also, the Bulls are 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games as a double-digit underdog, going back to December 2024. That history lines up with the eye test. They can hang for stretches and then suddenly have one of those real stinkers where everything falls apart for a few minutes and the scoreline blows up. The Celtics, by contrast, bring a much steadier level of effort and execution. So even though this was always going to be a thick number, it is a bit surprising it is not even higher given the gap in consistency and the current form. As our first pick for this matchup, the Boston Celtics to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Chicago Bulls are averaging 118.3 points on 47.4% shooting and allowing 121.8 points on 47.8% shooting. The Chicago Bulls are shooting 36% from beyond the arc and 78.2% from the free throw line. The Chicago Bulls are allowing 36.6% shooting from deep and are grabbing 45.6 rebounds per game. The Boston Celtics are averaging 121.4 points on 47.6% shooting and allowing 114.1 points on 45.1% shooting. The Boston Celtics are shooting 36.7% from beyond the arc and 79.1% from the free throw line. The Boston Celtics are allowing 37% shooting from deep and are grabbing 45.1 rebounds per game. When you put those stat lines next to each other, you see two teams that can absolutely score, but you also see defenses that are not complete pushovers, especially when one side is missing a key offensive hub like Tatum and the other is still without multiple pieces. In situations like this, you can sometimes get a game that feels like it should explode on paper, but the actual tempo and shot quality are a little more controlled because rotation players are asked to create more and elite scorers are sitting. Rebounding numbers are strong enough on both sides to limit endless second chance chaos, and the three-point percentages, while solid, are not outrageously hot. So if this turns into a game where the defenses tighten just enough and the short-handed offenses have a few dry spells, the total can land lighter than those season-long scoring averages might suggest. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Charlotte Hornets versus Oklahoma City Thunder. The Hornets are still missing Ryan Kalkbrenner and Grant Williams, with Con Knueppel and Tidjane Salon both questionable, while the Thunder will again be without Isaiah Hartenstein, Ousmane Dieng, and Nikola Topic among others. So both teams are walking into this one with a pretty busy injury report, which already sets the tone for a slightly unpredictable matchup. Charlotte has finally shown some life after that slow start, and they actually looked solid in their win over the Bulls on Saturday. They competed, they executed, and they looked more like a team that believes it belongs in these games rather than just trying to survive. Now they run into the Thunder, who are coming off a rare loss and have to turn right around for the second game of a back-to-back. That combination, a bounce-back narrative for Oklahoma City but some physical and emotional fatigue in the background, already makes this more interesting than a simple powerhouse versus doormat storyline. The Thunder absolutely have the talent to blow this open if they are locked in. Nobody really questions that. The issue is that they are on the end of a back-to-back. They are coming off a heartbreaking defeat, and the roster is not fully intact. That is exactly the sort of spot where a good team can sleepwalk just a bit, do enough to win on talent, but never really play with full edge for 4 quarters. On the other side, the Hornets are not nearly as bad as their record makes them look. They compete, and they sit at 19 to 15 to 1 against the spread this season. And that kind of against the spread mark tells you that the market has been slow to catch up to their effort level, and that you can actually make money backing them when the number stretches too far. Meanwhile, unlike some recent seasons where Oklahoma City was a covering machine, this version is sitting at 18 to 18 against the spread. That is perfectly average, and it lines up with the idea that the spreads have gotten a bit inflated, and they are no longer sneaking up on anyone. So when you mix an overvalued favorite on a back-to-back, a feisty underdog with a good against the spread record, and an injury report on both sides, it becomes very reasonable to lean toward the Hornets keeping this closer than expected. As our first pick for this matchup, the Charlotte Hornets to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. The Charlotte Hornets are averaging 115.9 points on 45.6% shooting and allowing 118.5 points on 48.9% shooting. The Charlotte Hornets are shooting 36.7% from beyond the arc and 81% from the free throw line. The Charlotte Hornets are allowing 38.6% shooting from deep and are grabbing 44.5 rebounds per game. The Oklahoma City Thunder are averaging 121.9 points on 49.4% shooting and allowing 107.2 points on 43.1% shooting. The Oklahoma City Thunder are shooting 36.7% from beyond the arc and 83.7% from the free throw line. The Oklahoma City Thunder are allowing 37.3% shooting from deep and are grabbing 44.2 rebounds per game. Put all that together and you have one team that scores efficiently but leaks a lot of points on the other end, and another that scores even more efficiently while still giving up a healthy percentage from 3. Charlotte allows a very high clip from deep. Oklahoma City can shoot and get to the line with strong accuracy, and both sides rebound well enough to create second chance opportunities that keep possessions alive. At the same time, the Hornets can hold up their end of the scoring bargain with solid perimeter shooting and very good free throw numbers, so you are not relying on one team to do all the heavy lifting on the scoreboard. So with both offenses already living in the mid-100 teens or higher on average, soft perimeter defense on each side, and strong free throw production, this shapes up as the kind of matchup where the total can get pushed upward rather than dragged down. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed, subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.